everyone, and welcome to this conversation presented by White House Custom Color. I'm Jed Taufer. Thanks for listening. You know, my wife Vicki and I have owned and operated our photography studio, V Gallery, for 20 years now. White House has been our lab for the last 16 of those years, and we could not be happier. White House is a family-run business, just like ours. If you haven't already, check them out at WHCC.com. And if you want to drop me a line, feel free to email me at jed@WHCC.com. Don't you just love spending time with people who have a strong symbiotic relationship? I'm not talking about the ones that are annoying and schmoopy, but the ones that make you laugh because they're laughing. For me, a perfect example of this is Fisk-Taylor and Kira Derryberry. They host the podcast Get Your Shoot Together, which you should definitely listen to if you haven't already. I've actually interviewed both of them individually for this podcast, but it's a completely different experience when you get to sit with them together. It's the whole Reese's thing. Chocolate and peanut butter are both delicious by themselves, but put them together and you have something truly epic. And that's really the crux of what we talk about here. The power, beauty, and importance of having other people in our lives. We laugh a lot on this one, but some of that is just so we don't start bawling like babies. Take this one to heart, friends. And don't be afraid to reach out to somebody soon. You'll be doing something good for yourself and for them. Now, in all honesty, this is my serious face. I have anticipated this podcast for a very long time. I'm being dead serious.
Okay. I'm scared.
Well, no, you just have an extremely high expectation to meet.
Oh, crap.
It's way high.
Okay. All right. I'm going to need you to take that down about 20%. 20 to 25%. If you could just
20 to 25%.
Scale it back.
32. We need 32% less.
No, I can give you 10% less.
10%. All right.
You guys have big expectations to fill. They're not enormous. They're big.
We can do it though. I'm not nervous.
I know you guys can bring it. I'm super excited to know what you're going to say today and what we're going to discuss.
We are too. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay. Everyone's excited about it.
Yeah,
We've
I am.
talked about it.
You tell them
for days and hours and weeks even. We just thought it might be a good opportunity to give a little bit of an origin story to why we had the podcast and our podcast, which is Get Your Shoot Together, and we wanted to talk a little bit about why it's fun to befriend other people in the industry in the way that we have, in the way that the podcast allows us to do, in the way the podcast allows you to do, and bring back kind of that community, like coworkers, if you will.
How long have you guys been buddies?
Well, we're not.
We're not actually friends.
It's strictly a work thing.
We're not actually friends. It's
one day maybe. Monday maybe we'll be friends, but
I keep trying so hard.
It's you to her. That's how it goes.
The MFT list is really hard to get on.
I keep giving her nicknames and trying to like make them catch on, and they don't. And
so I met Kira at a judging IPC, and she walks in the room, and somebody said, "Oh, what's wrong with XYZ?" And she was like, "Well, let me tell you." And I'm like, okie dokie. And so I said, we should put her on the board of directors.
See, I feel like a reaction like that, you would be like,
well, most
did we just become best friends?
Put her on the board of directors so we can become best friends, so I can lure. My whole secret plan all along was to lure her into a podcast.
Wow.
There's my co-host.
Do you ever
there
feel
she is.
Do you ever feel like your fate isn't even in your own hands? It's very strange.
Yeah,
like it just dawned on me.
So I don't even know where we were, and Kira goes, we should start a podcast. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? And so she's like, buy this and do this. And you should have seen me the first time, Jed, trying to like get on Skype.
Yeah.
Much less a quick time
Well, yeah,
recording.
because you guys don't live even, remotely close to each other.
No, but we talk once a week. And, it's a lot of us work alone. So you're like, your podcast I listen to, I think people listen to our podcast. And it's almost like, the feedback we get, and you probably understand this, is like, oh my gosh, you are in my brain. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I needed to hear. It happened to me. Or, I mean, you hear this all the time, and it's because we work by ourselves. We're so lonely.
So sad. The podcast is out of sadness.
We're Sad people.
I mean, but seriously, there is value.
Driven by despair.
That's us.
We're sad people.
Well, we have a name for this podcast already. Driven by despair. I like the alliteration.
like
We're
it.
going
I like
with
it.
driven
I
by
like
despair.
it.
Driven by despair.
Mary and Kira, driven by despair. Get your shoot together.
Can we rename the podcast? I think that's an option. No, but
we do cry a lot.
Truthfully,
I know that.
I think there's value in being able to commiserate with people who get it, and as much as like our families and close friends understand that
we still have.
Yeah, that we still have. Understand that we are small business owners and we face a whole array of troubles that maybe the average working person doesn't face. They don't. I mean, they're nice about it, but they don't really want to hear about it.
Right.
Well, so it's not misery loves company,
No,
right? But
no,
it's
not
a
at all.
version of that in that people that experience the same challenges love company because you want to be able to talk to somebody that gets it, not to somebody that doesn't want to hear about it anymore.
Right. And being able to talk shop with other people and kind of compare notes and compare stories, there's value in that because sometimes you feel like you're just doing it really, really wrong and you beat yourself up about it. And then you find out that there's somebody else that has the exact same story or knows somebody who has the exact same story. And here's how they came out of it. And, I think there's value there that exists in all forms, but anyway, it's been nice. And what's been really fun is that we're meeting a lot of people who have been coming up and like thanking us like that episode that you did about mini sessions. I didn't know what I was going to do.
That's
and
what
I made
happened
those
with Kira.
mistakes.
She's like, oh my God. I mean, are all these people coming up to you and telling you how much they love you in the podcast? And I'm like, no, not one person.
I came up to her so excited. I was so excited. I was like, Mary, people keep stopping me and they're shaking my hands. They're hugging me.
Mary, this is the best thing ever. What are you talking about?
I was like, how many people have come up to you? And she's like,
nobody.
No one. No, and I went, no, really.
And I'm like, I'm serious, Kira. Nobody has.
Yeah. And I shut it down.
Mentioned the podcast.
The joy.
There's only been 2.
I
though,
realized,
so.
and I was like, it really wasn't a big deal. One person hated it, so it's
I didn't even like them. So
yeah. Yeah.
No, it actually happened on the elevator. He goes, do you have some stickers for me? I'm like, sure.
Oh, yeah,
hold
because you
on."
have swag now, I've noticed.
Oh, yes, we
T-shirts
do.
and whatnot.
Yes, we do.
Yeah?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. Get your shit together.
We do.
It's fun.
We do have some swag. We
Yeah.
we like a good logo. You know what I mean? We like to be able to. We're all about brand recognition, and we talk a lot about story brand. Mary talks a lot about story brand in her.
Yes.
I do.
In
I know
her
you're a
thoughts.
story
I
brander.
am a story brand girl.
Certified and stuff, right?
I am a certified guide and then a profit first. And the funny thing is, I think.
Oh, yeah, profit first, too.
That's
Yeah.
right. So I think that the great thing is that, where we are in our lives and in our businesses, we're a great team because things that I just don't understand or I'm really struggling with, Kira's so good at it. And
Like what? I wanted to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're setting up. I've never done. We call them quick take sessions. We do them every year, but I've never done it where we set it up that it was a very streamlined online process, meaning they could go online, prepay their session, and book it.
Yeah. Lots of automation.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, I'm literally like that monkey on the thing. Like, I mean, I just no clue what I'm doing. Like, it's Kira's like, well, you just do this, and it was a whole episode.
Yeah. Well, I used to be kind of a nerd. I used to be.
It used to be. You came out of that
Just
somehow.
had an entire conversation about how you ate a sandwich.
That did just happen.
Oh my gosh.
So this was an episode where you learned.
Yeah, she taught us.
You learned
I was
from
taking
her
notes
on the episode.
I was taking notes.
Perfect.
Yeah, she was actively taking notes. Yeah,
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
we talk about a lot about like the stuff that I bring to the table is a lot about like you're talking about automation, apps, technology based
More
things.
technology stuff. Yeah.
I like gear. I like to talk about hey, I got this new boom arm in my studio and I've set it up in this way and I'm all excited about it.
And I'm like,
yeah.
You woke up. What was that?
She's like, wait, story brand? Okay.
I heard boom.
did you say story brand?
Did you say story brand? Yeah, but I am admittedly not the most numbers business minded person.
So that's what Mary brings.
Yes. I'm so inspired. I want to do this like art project and I want to like do, and Mary's like, and how is that going
And
to
how
make
are we
you
making money on that?
So you're going to lose $14,000 next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Knock
You
it
do
out of the
you.
park.
How are we going to make money on this? And she's like,
So there is a bit of a right brain, left brain thing happening here.
Kinda, yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. And we try to go back and forth because, we as much fun as we have, and we say every week, I mean, if nobody listens, it's totally fine because we're having so much fun. We would be devastated.
If nobody listens.
If it was like one download, I'm like, wow. And that was my husband.
That really happened. I was totally lying about what I said the whole time.
I totally lie. Of course, we love that people listen and get something from it, but we get something from it every week or however often we do this, and it's funny. We'll just be thank goodness it's just voices, because I mean
also
we're not
same.
Things happen, and all of a sudden we're like, well, it's Sunday, and I'm like still in bed in my pajamas, and just like, okay, let's get this done. And we're like,
let's make it happen.
yeah, so, shake and bake, Kira, let's go.
That's a perfect reference.
So we get it done, but it's all good. I mean, we have a lot of fun, and and we were upstairs talking with our friends Pete Rizak and Allison Watkins and some other friends we have here, and they were saying, well, I would love to hear your story and why you're doing this, because they said we're all in the same boat. We all pretty much work by ourselves, and yes, our spouses or our families they love us and they'll listen, but they get tired of listening. They don't want to hear it. And
I think you're so right.
I mean, yeah.
Vicky's listened to 2 of these. Maybe. I mean maybe.
But Vicky's actually in the industry, so see, that's even worse. I wouldn't go
possibly.
telling people that.
We're in the car and
yeah, she's like,
I'm playing it for myself, and so she happens to hear it. She's like, that's really good. I'm like, how many of you listened to that one? I heard that one.
Are they all like that? They're so good.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because she doesn't stop to listen to anything.
Oh really?
No.
See, I love a pod. I've always got podcasts going in the shower. I'm a big
she
shower
doesn't
listener.
do a lot of reading. She doesn't do a lot of lists. She is moving.
Yeah.
She's
a busy gal.
On the go.
Busy gal.
Like 28,000 steps in a day type normal day. And I hope I get that in a week.
Well, hashtag winning. I mean, we were just walking here.
better?
We're like, damn, my calves hurt. What the heck?
I was like, my quads are burning. Why?
I need to get one of those scooters. I've seen
what I'm
those scooters
thinking.
around
I
here.
see these people going by. I'm like, do you need that? Because
I do.
I got places to go, and
I got to go to Cascades.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make it there.
I mean, I want to go to the Mexican restaurant, and I'm going to need to get an Uber.
to go on the outside of the building. I get that, and I was curious about that piece too. The why for me, maybe your friends called it your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the why for me is important. I'm curious to know why, because it takes time. It takes effort. It required an investment of financially too, right?
It's not monetized.
No, it's not like you're raking in
No, we're not
big
making
dough.
any money. No. I mean,
why then?
that's a really good question.
Why the heck?
And why in the fact that I'm not going to answer your question yet, but I'm going to add to your question.
Yeah.
Why in the fact it's not like we're sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
And of course nobody is, but I mean, we both run busy businesses.
You have stuff
kiddos.
to do.
Yeah.
Right.
We are on the PPA board.
Yeah.
And then we'll make ourselves nuts entering image competition or speaking or judge, whatever. So it's like, you know what we should do? We should add
stuff.
We should add something.
We should add a thing
do
to like something that's really labor intensive that you have to do every week.
that's going to cost us money.
Because if you don't do it, the people notice too. Like everyone that listens holds you accountable.
Oh, they do.
for doing that.
This is true.
Do.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
This is so true. So like somebody said today, I think they were asking Kira about something that we discussed, and I guess we left them hanging.
Oh yeah, there was a cliffhanger that I didn't
We
realize.
didn't even know. I'm like,
Yeah.
You didn't satisfy on the next
evidently,
episode?
I'm like, well, next episode we're going to make sure we clear that right up. But it's just, we had very lofty goals that we were going to, like, we had this list. We were going to like plan it out. It was going to be like, yeah, first podcast, like, we're talking about this same thing, and we're like, squirrel.
Yeah, and then we just,
because it was what happened that week, what happened that day. A client called up, and how am I dealing with this complaint or this amazing sale or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, the why for me was, I love podcasts. I've only been asked to be on yours. I wasn't getting a lot of requests, and I felt like I was incredibly marketable.
and that's what you do. That's what you
I
do.
can kill it, and no one's knocking on my door.
I was like, dang, all right, I see you. Dax Shepard.
Come on, armchair expert. Let's make it happen.
All right, go with Ronan Farrow, whatever. So, so I thought, well, that'll be fun. And I love teaching and sharing. I really do.
You
and
do.
I thought
Yeah.
it would be so fun for us because I don't know if you probably didn't even notice, but I'm a little bit older. than
I
Kira.
didn't notice. It didn't occur to me.
So there's an age difference, but it's cool. We're coming at it from very different places where we started in this industry. I mean, my studio is 26 years, but she's a decade in. Where we are with our family, having, me being an empty nester and crying
All
constantly
the time.
about that.
About your kids, yeah.
Fleetwood
Right.
Mac.
Right.
This is for you, Daddy. Remember?
I'm like, I can't wait.
No, listen, when Stevie says that, every time I do get mildly emotional in my car when I hear that.
I'm always like, I can't. Oh my God, I can't wait for school to get back in session so my kid will go back to school. And she's like,
Why are you so mean?
Where's your heart, woman?
why is the Christmas break holiday break so
like
long?
you Grinch.
Like an Elsa. It's just a frozen heart.
It's not the first time it's been described that way. I'll be honest with you.
You've heard it before.
I have heard it before. No, okay. So my why though, because you guys just made me realize it. Honestly, you and I both, within the PPA world, we're very visible, obviously, and
Well, obviously you more than me, since not one single person is discussing the podcast. But whatever.
I
go
am
ahead,
never
go ahead,
going
go
to
ahead.
hear the end of
It's
this.
the bang. I think it's the bangs. They're very abrupt.
they frame the face.
It must be the
They're
bangs.
very abrupt. I mean, I
It's
think
gotta be
it stands out.
You know what? We can get you bangs. Jed, we can get bangs.
Lord, have mercy.
That's what you need, Mary.
Yes, it bangs. Yeah, because my life isn't bad enough. That's what I should give myself is bangs.
Get some bangs.
Achievement at Christmas.
All right. So
Continue.
people see us a
my
lot
word.
within this circle, right? And we both teach. And I think one of the misconceptions from people that you meet out there is that we know everything and we know what we're doing and we never mess up and we never have problems with clients and we never have sales that go bad. We never have clients that email and complain.
Right.
All of that happens. Everything that's out there happening to everyone else happens to all of us. And being able to talk about it and be a little self-deprecating about it and be able to admit that, hey, I messed up. I messed up at the holiday season for my mini sessions offering a product that I did not price correctly. And it messed up so many of my sales. I'm okay
isn't
to
it
say
an
it.
avenue for you to vent or to confess or to release or all of the above?
Yeah, maybe a little of all of
It's a way
it.
for you to get that out.
It's a way to get it out, and it's a way to validate out there for everyone that this happens all the
Right.
time, and it's what you do after that mistake happens and how you handle it after. If the client is upset about something where you dropped the ball and it's your problem, how did you handle it
Right.
after? And so we've had a couple of times
What
where
not to do.
what not to do. And that I don't know if you guys do this, but when you have an upsetting email that comes through, you don't answer it right away. I don't answer it right away. Like I have to sit on it because I'm so if I answer it right now, I will answer it wrong.
Right.
No matter
You're
what.
triggered.
It is. Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah. And so I need
You're traumatized.
I need to sit on it sometimes I sit on it for like 6 hours, or a day.
Yeah.
Day maybe. It just depending
That's
on how
okay,
bad it is.
too. You
It's
can actually do
okay. It's okay.
I'm like, meh.
yeah.
You just put it with the rest of them.
I get pretty emotionally triggered from stuff like
You
that.
get emotionally triggered and you're like, and I'm like, you know what? We're just going to put that aside.
breathe.
Let's just
Okay,
have
then
some
in all
to drink.
seriousness, how much of that specific thing in particular and things like that are because of age? And I say that because do you feel like you are more, Mary, you are more, quote, we'll say the word hardened, right?
That's a
You're
pretty good way to
thicker
put it.
skin
No, yeah, I'm used to it
because of your experience.
too. Yes.
And maybe your skin is thinner, Kira, because of a lack of that much experience. So you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I don't mean to put it that way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But that's like coming for you. You
It
get-
is. It
you're-
already
you're-
is.
Yeah,
you're-
it already is.
You become more hardened.
Yeah. And
Like, get this little buckaroo right.
In a
But you-
sense.
No,
Sure.
it's not. It's not that. She
In a
just.
sense.
Yeah, it is true, and it's because it is an age difference. I mean, there's 3-4 years.
just
It's at least 3.5 years.
Just 3-4 years, whatever. But it is, and she'll say things, and she'll go, and I know what you're going to say, and I'm like, you're right, because you know what, I remember, and I would have taken it personally. I would have melted down, but now I understand.
Okay, so you've both fallen into my trap.
oh, good.
Oh boy, here we go.
How do you prevent that healthy, thicker skin from becoming cynical, jaded, right?
By hanging out with someone like her.
Yeah.
And or I'm going to start or watching my kids and hearing them, because there's nothing. We went through something really rough this year, this past year, as leaders. And the podcast was so big for me because it gave us a chance to connect and talk about positive things and good things and fun things but it was a really rough time for us. I mean, I'm not.
No, there was a couple of times where, we have to record these episodes because we've made a commitment.
Right.
And there was a couple of times where both of us just didn't have it. And it's like we were just spent.
Right.
But
we kept each other, and then we would get off and go, phew, that felt good. But she keeps me from getting there, to be getting jaded and not care. I don't think I could ever not care, but taking it for granted or whatever.
Taking it for granted.
It keeps me grounded in that, and it reminds me to don't let go and lose all of that, because even though I've done this a while, I'm not done yet. Yeah, I don't, and when I will be done when I can't. But hanging out with people like Kira and other, like I was talking earlier about Allison Watkins on the board with us, and hearing that energy, because they're about in the same place years wise with their business, and my children who are older starting their careers.
So
it's exciting.
Do you think that isolation is someone's enemy when they're?
I do.
That's a good observation.
I do,
Yeah.
and that's exactly why we have a podcast. I think we didn't really know the answer to this question. We've actually been talking about it. We've kind of been around this, but we sit a lot. Now, granted, we're with some clients, right? But we spend a lot of our time sitting in a corner or wherever.
Yeah.
On our computer, learning, marketing, editing, whatever you're doing, and we're alone and we're in our head, and it's like
You can go hours without speaking to anyone.
right. And you hear and you hear this a lot, like, oh, I listen to your podcast while I'm editing, or I'm sitting here culling a school order, and it's so exciting because it's like, oh, there's other people like me out there, and
Right. And you do
know?
make that connection, even
100%.
though it's not, in real time or whatever, and you're not actually there.
100%.
But it maybe does help someone get out of, you said in your head, to get out of your head. Because if you stay there and you're getting emails that are discouraging, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
And you stay there and you isolate rather than going the other way and getting out, that can become a very dangerous place for people.
It can become, and all of us, you and I both worked in completely different industries before, like we had previous careers.
yes,
And you had people, if something went wrong or something, or
to
something
go to
was
lunch
good,
with,
or like
Yeah.
if there was a good thing, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's Steve's birthday, we're all having cake,
Right.
I want cake.
Like, yeah. I don't get Steve's birthday cake anymore. Like
No.
Steve, it's never
Right.
Steve's
It's
birthday.
like, oh, it's my birthday.
Yay.
Here's a cupcake for me.
Me, yay! I can't even eat it.
Yeah, I can't even eat it. But that's so true, because it used to be that you could take these little breaks and give your mind a moment to breathe. So I think I'm glad that we're able to bring that for other people, because a lot of people, photography is a second career,
Right.
third, fourth
Right.
career,
Right.
and it might be a major change from what they used to do, and it's nice that it's resonating with people and it's kind of getting them through their day, and we're enjoying it because we're talking. And it's getting us through our day.
It does.
So it's just working on all levels.
What do you want 2020 to be like?
I want, if they could start making the sandwiches about half the size. I just don't know why it's necessary to stack them so high.
They're
Who needs
almost
that much
not edible
turkey?
in
I
their
don't.
current state.
What's worse is when they make multiple meats in the sandwich and stack it.
Like a club.
Yeah. Is that
I love a club.
Yeah.
Do you just about fall over when you see another extra piece of toast in
do
the
not mix
middle
meats
of
in
the sandwich?
sandwiches.
Are you
I
like,
know
what am I
that
going to
makes me
do?
mad. It's just a random
just
piece
why?
of something
Just
you know I
extra
don't need,
bread.
and you know I'm going to eat it because it's got the most mayonnaise on it. What the hell's wrong with you people?
That's a conspiracy.
2020 for me, and Kira's so sick
Now we
of
know
this.
Kira's.
Sandwiches.
Right.
Part of me with this podcast is also, I don't know if you know this about me, Jed, but and I was talking to our friend Allison Tyler Jones just this past week
ATJ.
as I was hyperventilating, freaking out about a program I'm going to be giving. And I'm talking to her and she's like, okay, MFT. It's like crack. You're like crack. But you got to and she was doing this whole thing. And pretty much what she said, if I'm going to boil it on down, was people are intimidated by you.
Ah.
They're intimidated by you. They don't always think you're nice or they don't know this side of you that like we know.
She went with the real.
It's Allison Taylor-Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she has one speed.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
one.
She does.
That's it.
Right.
So she's saying this, and I was like kind of crying, and then kind of laughing, and then I was a little flattered, and then I was a little. But
Then you wanted to punch her in the
then
face.
I wanted to be like, why don't you mind your own business? Why don't you get on your Peloton and just leave me alone?
Yes.
It's
I
her
get it.
journey.
It is her journey. Exactly. But she was
But
right.
she was speaking truth,
She's right.
wasn't she?
Oh my gosh. And also, I've done this for a long time. So what I came into this industry, and I actually got an email about this recently because of some stuff that's been going on. And it said, I'm sure in your years, and you are found success in this industry, but I'm sure in all the years you've done this, you've had roadblocks being a woman in this industry. Because when I did come into this industry, it was still a film-based industry, and there weren't a lot of women doing this.
Right.
And I've watched it change, and for the better, and all great. But in the beginning, you just kind of had to like wear suits and kind of act, just not be too.
Don't be emotional for crying out loud.
Never let them, and then it has definitely changed. But now I'm on the older end of it. And I think, I'm at that place where, well, am I relevant? Am I relevant anymore? I mean, I have this history and I say things to some people and they're like, Or because I have worked really hard and we've had a lot of great success in this industry, I think people think, well, nobody can do that. You only can do that because you've been doing this a long time. And so I'm always in my head with this battle. Like, I want to be approachable, but I do have things to share and I want to share them, but it's not because I've done this for so long. It's not because I'm old or I'm older, but it's because I really think I can give you ideas that if you just would listen to me, and I think us together as a team, you really can personally find success, what you're looking for, whatever that is. Everybody's definition of success is so different, right? I mean,
of course.
it's finding balance, this or that, whatever it is. But I just, it's been hard. I mean, I turned 50.
Where do you think those voices in your mind come from?
The devil. No, I mean, it is the devil. I mean, I'm going to go with that because, you know me, I'm this big thing about, there's this fine line, right? You're going to not want to hear this because I say it all the time. So people, but your ego is not your amigo. So I'm and I will go one step further with ego, edging God out. See, like ego for me.
Edging God out.
Yeah, because when your ego takes over, I don't like that. So
It's
when
all
I
about
see
you.
that in myself
Right.
or other people, I'm like, okay, that's not what I want to be.
Right.
I can't be 20. I mean, I'm 51. I've got to be this person. But how do I get out of my head? I still am so insecure. Like I'm already freaking out about, giving this next program or putting myself out there. And I want to be so confident, but it's so freaking hard.
Right. It still is.
Yeah. So this podcast, I think, lets me say everything, and I've never thought of it this way, but it's so much easier to do that because she's my friend and I trust her, and I can say things from my absolute heart, soul, head. We can be funny and cut up, but I'm protected.
It's just a safe space.
And if they're judging me, they're not. Obviously, they're not telling me because,
Well,
Kira,
how aware of this are you?
I'm incredibly aware of this.
You are.
This is because you're doing it for me too. We're gonna.
I'm not crying. You're
All right,
crying.
You're crying. But she's doing it for me too, and so we're always talking the other one off the ledge.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, it literally. And what's nice about it is we're never both at the ledge. Like it's always like you are. Even when we get on, I'll be like, okay. My, Lucy's having a lot of stuff. My daughter's having a lot of stuff, and it's getting really tough. And I just feel like I can't do it right now. Like I can't do this right now. And she's always like, as busy as she is, she's always like, it's going to be okay. This is not the end of the, she's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Let's just do this tomorrow. Like when
Right.
let's,
we're so forgiving of each
yeah, we're
other.
so forgiving. But yeah, I think there's a certain catharsis that comes from being able to just say out loud the conversations that frankly we're having in private.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
A lot of it is.
These are conversations that if you were sitting with us and having a drink or having a meal or, or at a convention.
Most likely a drink. But
I was like, well, yeah, let's be honest. Most likely a drink. We would be sharing these stories. So why not record them and let other people engage in those stories as well? I mean, we get a lot of email from people that share how they relate. You know what I mean? I don't think we're changing lives or anything, but it's nice to hear that people relate.
In all ages, because we're getting the younger photographers and the older. And I think people get excited that they can relate to one or the other, or they think that, wow, okay, yeah, I can still do this. I've gotten a few there's like, God, I was kind of just feeling I was out of it, or I was just, and I'm so excited to hear that. Or maybe somebody getting started and not being where they want to be where Kira is, and go, wow, you're so honest and authentic about the struggle of going from this to that.
Well, it's one thing for them to be able to relate to it, right? When they're also sitting in their corner with their laptop and they're alone, and the kids are in bed because it's 2 in the morning and you're still culling or whatever.
Exactly.
But what else is there's more than that too, right? Because in my experience, and I think you guys would both be able to relate to this, we're here at something like this. We're at imaging with 8, 9, 10, 40 other thousand. I don't even know how many people are here. Lots of people. So that's like another level, is it not?
Yes.
Because you can listen to somebody's podcast when you're in your corner by yourself, but you can't have that drink with them.
Nope.
You can't. In a sense, it's a one-way street which is great and can be very helpful. But isn't it that much more important to get out of that and like see somebody in person, even if it's the photographer across town or even if it's somebody in your local affiliate?
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And I think we both spend a lot of time advocating how important it is to go to your affiliate or your state or here.
I wouldn't have met you if I didn't go to my
because that's
local.
where it happened in the first place.
Yeah.
That's how it happened. And we are very pro. All of this is great.
Right.
But I mean, I would be sad if I didn't get to see you a couple times a year. That's why we go and, we make time to go and, do like little mastermind groups or go to our state or here or whatever it is.
Well, and YouTube is great for education, but it's not the same as sitting in a room.
It is. You know why? Because you can do a billion other things while you have YouTube playing. You can do a billion other things while you have a podcast playing, or you can pause something and then and what we listened to Jim Quick today. Like if you multitask like that, it takes 10 to 20 minutes to to react.
Yeah, because multitasking is not a thing.
It's not a thing.
What did he say? He said it's not multitasking. It's just you're switching tasks.
Task switching, yeah.
And so you're just switching,
right.
and you really aren't fully focusing on anything.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, people are hearing us and they'll giggle or laugh and maybe get a little nugget here or there, but there would be nothing like being out there and going to someone's class or having lunch with some people here.
Well, and that's my point. The resonance is one thing, and I think it is helpful. And I actually disagree with you. I think you can be changing lives in a lot of ways. I do. I think you're selling yourself a little short because I've seen it happen and I've experienced it myself. But it's resonance is one thing, interaction is another, I think. And to get out there, even if it's like you call somebody up and meet them at Starbucks, you sit there for 45 minutes, have a coffee, have a laugh, have a cry, whatever you got to do.
Right.
Like, get something off your chest, share an email, what should I do? That kind of thing. That's even a bigger deal. And for me at these events, the dinners, like the spontaneous, our group of 4 became a group of 16, and I happened to sit across from somebody that I thought was a wacko, but ended up teaching me things that I can't believe I am now going to go back and put into place. That was like the best dinner of my life. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Right.
That that $48 became something that made me $40,000 last year.
Yeah.
That really happens.
Absolutely.
It happens all the time.
It really,
Absolutely,
really does.
it happens. And I mean, making the time to do that is so important. And, that's great. And that's a great challenge I think all of us would put out there, into especially this industry. And it's my industry, so of course I care. But, I'm always this person that, in our studio, we have a rule. When we're in the studio, Jamie and I have to make 5 calls a week, reach out to 5 people a week. That's a potential, maybe partnership, to be in a potential auction, a potential client, maybe somebody I haven't seen in 3 years, but I ran into them at TJ Maxx 2 weeks ago, and they said, we need to get little Cindy Lou Who in.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to be ringing her up.
Right.
So, but that's our job. But I think beyond that at least once a month or twice a month, you make time to go for a coffee, go for a lunch or something with a person and engage, because that's what we do, right? We engage with people and get emotion out of them. And that's what we do. But we personally, are we engaging anymore?
Right.
Right? Not with our clients. That's one thing. But how much personally are we capable of sitting down and being just real and engaging with somebody and making eye contact?
Well, we don't. We text. You know what I mean? We text.
Yes.
That's a great manifestation.
I like to make phone calls with friends. I like talking on the phone.
She called me one day. I was like, "What do you think this is? 1992?"
Yeah, I said.
What are you doing?
Here's when I call her, I'll go. I know, I'm calling.
That's how you lead. That's your lead.
But people think something's wrong. If you call someone, people think there's a disaster.
That's my
Someone
default.
died.
You're so
That
right.
is my default. I'm confessing. I get a call from somebody. What's going on?
Oh my God, somebody's dead.
Is everything all right?
Happened.
Is everything all right?
Is the car okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever.
Yeah. And it's just become so impersonal.
You're right.
It's just become so
It's
impersonal.
easy to be impersonal. It's
yeah.
easier than ever to be impersonal.
Well, it's easy to hide behind these microphones. It's really hard to get off that elevator and to go into that mass because you know that people are going to, at least stop Kira.
Not you. Right.
Just like her helper.
You're intimidating.
Intimidating. But, it's hard to do that. It's hard to get out there and,
It's hard to do that, and it's harder to do that now because it's easier to sit in your basement in front of Netflix with a bag of chips. Mm-hmm. So I've been told.
What kind of chips?
Salt and vinegar. Salt and vinegar.
I mean,
chips.
how easy is it to do? Like the
Allegedly.
funnel leads to that a
It
lot
does.
more than it leads to calling somebody up, having a conversation, and setting up a time to meet.
And do you know what else it breeds? Is most of the stuff if you're alone and you're working and all you're doing is getting everything online, it seems like, and maybe I'm wrong and you guys can correct me, but it seems like the things that come out of you via text or Facebook post or social media are more negative than when you are actually engaging. I think there's more opportunities to be misunderstood over text because tone is such a
There's
weird
that.
thing.
Yeah.
But also people feel a little braver to say something they wouldn't have maybe if they'd had a conversation with you and really
Right.
been able to kind of hear each other out and that have a back and forth in person. I think that there's a negativity that it's sort
I
of
think
like,
there's no question that
You're so
isolation
right.
breeds negativity.
yeah.
You're so right.
Because you were saying even earlier, like she helps give you a perspective
Yeah.
and pull you out of your own head and get you away from those negative voices that are inside your head telling you this, that, and the other, despite your experience relative to hers.
Right.
And that's a big piece of your relationship. And you, Kira, are aware of that. You are cognizant of that. And so you're doing things intentionally. And I think that's a perfect example of a symbiotic piece of a relationship because you're both giving and taking in that scenario and you're both helping each other and it requires effort.
Yes.
It doesn't just happen by itself. You both have to be intentional and put effort into the relationship in order to put yourself into a position where that can even happen in the first place, as opposed to just calling and sitting there
No, you're
staring
right.
at your
Yeah.
screen.
You're right. And it would have been super easy for one of us to really drive this off the road.
Yeah.
Because I could have come into this and been like, I mean, I've been doing this 26 years. I make this much money. I
Right.
mean, whatever.
Right.
And been like, so cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't, or she could have
You're
come
so
into
pretty
this to
and
be
fun.
like,
Yes.
you're so pretty. Or she could have come into this like, oh gosh, she's so out of it. She has no
Right.
idea. She's,
Right.
whatever. But I don't think that either one of us, I mean, I intentionally, hopefully, I don't think this happened, that it's so even back and forth. It's
is.
not, it's not, well, you're so great or you're so pretty. It's not, it really isn't. And I think, I was actually talking to my husband about this a couple of weeks ago, I guess kids are still home when they still love me and they stayed at home. And anyway, so I said, he had been listening to the podcast and he said, oh, it's just so fun. And then y'all really are so fun and get along. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, we're not trying to one up each other.
That's a big thing, isn't it?
And I think that's hard in a partnership.
Yeah, it's not one-sided. It's
At
not
all.
one-sided at all. I mean, it just there seems to be. I mean, because I could have come into this very intimidated. You know what I mean? Just because you're intimidating and mean. But so mean.
I mean,
But Mary has never made me feel. I mean, I've been in business 10 years, and it's been a good 10 years, and
You're killing it. You're doing great.
But I could have come into it and be like, she doesn't care what I have to say. She doesn't. Why would she? Because she's so.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's never happened because I there are times where I am like, I got a thing we got to talk about today, and you're like, okay, and then it's just, and you let me go. You know what I mean? Because
she gives you all the room that you need.
Yes,
to fill up that space.
She gives me all the room to if I want to talk about I'm really excited about learning this new technique, and here's what I'm going to do to try to level up and try to just get better, and I just get jazzed about it or whatever. She lets me do that, and get excited about it.
No, I don't want to let you escape this question because you did with a sandwich, unintentionally, of course.
Oh no, okay.
But 2020. What do you want from 2020? Everyone talks about 2019, and I know you guys even.
We did.
You pointed to some stuff that happened, and lots of people had different things that happened in 2019, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But what do you want in 2020? Because here we are.
So in so I feel like there's been a build up to this, especially with my experience on the board. Because I'm getting to be around these industry gods, to be honest with you, that have been so giving to me in my career. And don't make me cry.
I'm not crying.
Anyway, don't look at me. But
fair enough.
I've been around all this greatness and all this success and all this just giving. That this is, I feel so armed, so confident.
Armed, I like that.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like not only am I confident that I want to help, I want to help other people who are even earlier in their career, under 5 years, under 3 years, under 2 years, but like this year, at least for my business, I'm so much more organized. I'm so much more thoughtful. I'm not flying by the seat of my pants as much. I mean, I get a lot done with those pants, I'm telling you, but I'm not so much feeling around in the dark the way that I used to.
Then you remember what it's like to feel around.
Because I remember that. And I don't know everything. I know some things, but not everything. And this year is the year that I am activating all of this intense amount of knowledge. I feel like I'm overflowing with good ideas from conversations that I've had with people who've been in the industry longer, and people like Mary who have been, business guiding me. I'm going to be honest with you. I rarely sit through a business class. Like if it's at a convention, you know what I mean? I'm always in the shooting demo class. I want to go watch people shoot.
I get
That's all I'm interested in.
Sure.
Being around her is just, it's like sitting someone down in front of you and you're like, I know you don't want to hear this, but you are going to listen to me right now. And this is what it is. And she's got my full attention.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do that with Gregory Daniel as well. Greg has been so kind. I've said this a bunch of times, but I didn't realize that Greg was mentoring me until it was happening.
No, he's a slime.
Sneaky.
Yeah, he's a sneaky
like a
mentor.
ninja mentor.
He is a ninja
he's a
mentor.
subtle fella. He gets in there.
You don't even know what's happening. You're like,
don't
holy
even know.
crap! I
You're
just
like,
made $100,000 on what you told me.
Why is this guy hanging around me all the he's been teaching me. I thought he was just.
Yeah. He got a good way about it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
great.
He's been teaching me this whole time.
It's very, very true.
It is so true.
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very true.
And he has been, he's just been so wonderful for me and for my business and helping me see around corners and get and the two of them actually together, the roadblocks that I think everybody puts up. You get into it. I've been with people where they're trying to ask me for advice and I give it to them. They have a problem. It's a problem I'm familiar with, and I tell them what I think they should do.
Yeah.
And the immediate thing is, I can't do that. You can do that, but I can't do that. You can do that because you're fun and people you talk to people.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I've heard
do
that before too.
Yeah, I can't go do that.
Right.
And so that's a roadblock that you're putting up for yourself
right.
when you do that. And so there's so many things that Mary and Greg have taught me that in my mind are, I'm not gonna. I don't set goals. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna throw caution to the wind and just like let this keep happening. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of how I roll. I do better sometimes that way, especially when I shoot that way. But in this case, it's good.
It's part of the reason you don't set goals is because you're afraid you're not going to be able to achieve them.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well,
Quit figuring me out, guys.
Well, that might have been myself talking about myself.
Yeah, it's just. That's what I'm thinking for.
This is your year to implement.
This is my year to implement.
To make it happen. Mm-hmm. You got all this stuff. And
I have so many things. I have a big list of things, and we talked about it. We've talked about it on the podcast of like,
Yeah, you've definitely, and this is going to be your year. It already started out like, I mean, like she'll text me and she's like, "You're just not going to what happened." I mean, this January, and I'm getting this, business and sales, and I'm like, exactly.
I've had the best sales month in my career this month by the 13th of the month. I texted her the number. I was like, "Hey, I just ran this report. I think it's wrong."
I'm like, "It's not wrong, Kira. It's right. It's right."
How does jealousy not come up? Because I'm hearing that. Really? And on one hand, I got this angel that's like, "Good for you. That's so precious and awesome. And go, Kira." Yeah. And on the other shoulder, I do have that devil that's like, "What?" Honestly, that's what happens with me. And that's initial, and that's like off the top of my head.
Of course.
How do you guys handle that with each other?
Be jealous of her?
Yeah, you're sending each other information that a lot of people don't share.
Oh, that's true.
People don't share that stuff very often.
We don't really have a competitiveness.
No, we have this weird group that we always text each other, like our end-of-day sales reports or whatever. And I'm like, if I get one from Greg or Kira or Audrey, I'm so happy for them.
You just are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of high-fiving
I may be
going on.
having like a really like crappy week, and I'll be like, "Okay, what are y'all doing?" And they'll tell me.
Okay.
And then I'll do it, and then I'll be like, "Well, in your face!" Like
yeah,
a couple
right.
weeks later. No, and like we just kind of we share that information very freely.
But I will say, because I think this does bring I don't think that this happens with us so much.
Okay.
But I think we do this with other people that we're a bit more measured because we have had a lot of success. You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't tell that to a lot.
Yeah.
So my numbers, I would never.
No.
You're being selective with who you do this
I would
with.
only
But there's
share
a
with
line
some
between
people.
sharing good news with a friend
Mm-hmm.
who's also, like another friend in the
friend.
industry.
Right.
There's a line between sharing good news with a friend and oversharing your success and weighing them down with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because you can see it, I've done it. In fact, I have really good friends that, we are around, we are all in the same amount of time that we've been in business, you know what I mean? And you share something that you think they're going to be so happy for you about.
Right.
And then it dawns on you, like in the middle of the sentence, now you can't stop it, that maybe they're not going to be thrilled.
Right.
But it doesn't affect them at all.
You've had this has been a really theme for you.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Kira is that kid. She's that person who just goes, and she says she doesn't set goals, but get this done, get this done, get this. I mean,
if there's a thing to get, I do like to mark it off.
it's like
Okay.
everything's a
You
video
like to
game.
check
Everything's
things
a
off,
video
you-
game for her.
Yeah, I get that. That's
It's a
my
video
life,
game.
too.
She's leveling up, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you know the long running joke of my car
I don't.
situation.
I
Okay,
don't
so
know your
I've
car
been
stuff.
driving.
Well, obviously, he doesn't listen to our
I'm
podcast.
not. He doesn't listen to the podcast. That's weird. So I've had this car for a really long time. In like 10 years, 11 years, something like that. And it's a great car. I don't care about cars so much. Like, it's not that I'm...
Oh, I know this part. I know what you're talking about, but I've heard clips about this part.
Yeah.
Okay.
That you
How it
don't-
didn't
I know
have a
that you
handle?
don't. I know that you don't care about your car.
It didn't have a handle.
It didn't. No, it sometimes didn't have a handle. Kevin glued it back on, and it was fine. Everything was fine.
Right. Okay.
This
keep
wears
the
me
glue-
out.
we
This is
just
the kind of
keep
stuff
the
that
glue in
gets
the
me.
car.
I don't like this.
Yeah, the car had some.
love
There were
my
some.
car.
There was a broken passenger side window, but it was like broken on the outside, so there's still the inside glass, so it's fine. It's fine. And there were some
big
other
deal.
issues.
No big deal.
You couldn't open the door all the time, not because of the handle, but the passenger door. If you unlocked it, it locked. It was like haunted, so it just locked itself back.
I'm picking up some stuff right now.
Okay, so I, at the end of this year, was able to get a new car.
Right. I saw that.
Yes. Of course you saw that, because this is my instant regret that I had. I posted a photo of me in my new car.
I saw it.
And I immediately felt like such a jerk. Like just such a humongous jerk. And I'm going to tell you, I got more interaction with that one social media post than maybe if I had suddenly had given birth to a new child spontaneously. Like people... 89 comments and like 400 likes later. And I kept saying to my husband, I was like, can I delete it? Like, can I delete? Because
That's all you. That is all you in your head.
Yeah.
All you in your head. You felt.
I
I
felt
don't know
like it was
why
this
you felt
weird
bad.
flex,
I bought a new car last year, and I pretty much like had a skywriter, decorated it. Like, no, I mean,
and somehow it's okay
I worked
for
my
you.
butt off to buy that
Somehow
car.
it's
Right.
okay for everyone else I know to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
And then when I do it, because I'm excited about it, and this, I just felt like the biggest.
And then she spent our
jerk.
entire first podcast of the year complaining about it. Because you know what? The seatbelt just jerks her back too hard.
There's a lot of technology in this
See?
car that I just don't think is necessary. Why can't we crank it?
And why
anymore?
doesn't
I
it
don't
have a
understand.
key?
I don't understand why it doesn't.
I'm like, because they haven't had keys in cars for 15 years, Kira.
I don't understand. I don't
She
need
doesn't carry a purse. She's like, what am I going to do?
Keys aren't a thing anymore, man.
What am I going to do with that big fob? I said, get a lanyard.
a lanyard. I don't. The backup camera. My old car would beep if you backed up.
Right.
Right. So I'm and I drove like a station. I drove like a big car. You know.
Was it a gigantic?
Flex.
Like,
It was a Ford
No, it's
Flex.
a Flex.
It was
It
like
wasn't
a
that
hearse.
big.
that's what you had before.
Yeah.
And it beeped?
Yeah, it didn't have a backup camera because they didn't make those then. It had beepers. It would go beep, beep, beep.
But
beep,
isn't
beep.
that what like a garbage truck does?
That's what I was thinking.
It's like a...
It's helpful, Jed. It's helpful just to let you know.
Did it have a backup camera?
No, I'm saying they didn't make
Because that's what's helpful.
No. I cannot stand this
Hello.
backup camera.
They're the best things in the whole wide
I know
world.
how to back my car up. Use mirrors.
She's offended by the camera.
I just stop distracting me with the TV in the middle of the. I need to see my mirrors, and if you're going to show me behind me, I cannot use this backup camera. It is like there's these lines in it, and I'm trying to follow the lines, but like I can get out of the
You
park.
can still use your mirrors.
I'm trying to, but the screen
Yeah,
is telling.
they're also an option. They don't go
I'm
away.
still using the mirrors, but can we cover the screen? Why do we need it? I don't understand.
Well, if you want
It's
to cover it,
wonderful,
cover it.
and it gives you a nice wide angle of what's back
exactly
there.
right.
It hits places your mirrors can't see.
All right, guys.
Give it a
fine.
shot.
I'm trying.
You need to just be okay with it.
I just feel like I'm wearing somebody else's skin in this car.
Gross.
That's what's happening. Okay.
That's gross.
All right, calm down.
You went too far. Too far? Too much?
Gross.
Smidge.
I'm wearing another person.
2020 for I think all of us, I hope for all of us, is like reimagined, and that's kind of been my whole thing. Is everything. I got a great life, really. You know, it can be better. I can be healthier. My husband is going to be healthier this year because we're finally, I think, doing some right things. But my business is doing well, but I can do better. But it's just reimagining things. And I think my biggest thing I'm taking from 2019 is I didn't know so much because I just kind of was.
You have blinders on?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. And I'm removing those and I'm trying to see more, and see better and see what's missing in my life. And I'm not talking about more sessions, more money, more this, but I get in this lane with these people that I love and are so amazing. And there's things in my life that aren't there and I need to get them in my life.
I have to ask this question because you brought that up.
Okay.
What is your plan for when you see things that you don't like? Because part of the reason your blinders are there,
You're
I
right.
submit, is to keep you from seeing the things that you don't like. And it's very easy to see things we don't like these days.
And it's an election year.
There's also that. So you're choosing an
I won't go
interesting...
politics, but
Well, no, but you're choosing an interesting time
to do it.
to take those blinders off.
Because I will be better if I see it and choose to not engage with it than to just pretend like it doesn't exist. So
I agree with that.
So I can't pretend of that, whether it's politics or that I can't pretend that I am, I can't pretend anything anymore. I'm done. I think I've done a lot of pretending for a
Have
long
you?
time. I really feel that way.
You're getting rid of the facade.
I don't know that I'll get rid of all of it.
Right.
But I think I've got to get rid of some of it. And
Okay.
something, we went through something this year that I just realized my life wasn't as, maybe my life wasn't as diverse or as big as I thought it was. And I needed to be more open-minded and more willing to see what I just, and this was like head down, do your work, raise your kids, make them, try to just keep them out of jail.
Right.
With good
Right.
people.
Right.
Love your husband. Be good.
Yes.
And I think I've done a decent job at that.
Sure.
I got one kid in. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really, but I need to. I just didn't know a lot of things, and it made me sad when I realized it. It made me feel a little bit elitist.
Was it
made
humbling?
Me feel, it was very humbling because I never thought I was that person, but I kind of am.
Sure.
So I'm going to fix that. That's definitely that's on the agenda for me this year for sure. So reimagining some things and
Implementation and reimagining. I like both of those for 2020.
yeah.
Let's end with telling everybody where
Did you wanna
they can
sing? We're not gonna
find
sing.
you. Well,
Want to? Kira loves karaoke.
just looking at her face.
Kira goes, we're gonna sing.
Don't make me sing.
You can sing things like your websites and where people can find you if you'd like. But what are the deets? What are the social media deets? Where do people go if they want more of Mary and Kira?
So I feel
You do it.
I always
These are
read a script.
live.
I don't know if I can remember it. So everyone can find us on Instagram at Get Your Shoot Together. You can email us at girl@getyourshoottogether.com. And you can find us at girl@getyourshoottogether.com. If you want a t-shirt, you can go there and get one.
That's right. Swag.
And you can listen to our podcast in all the places that they listen to your podcast.
That's right.
Apple, Spotify. Are you on YouTube yet? Because we're on YouTube now.
No, God, one-upper? Jeez.
You got to get on the YouTube. Somebody from Cairo, I promise, 2 hours ago, sent me a message from Cairo, Egypt, and said, I'm so glad you're finally on YouTube. I've been waiting for that.
Wow.
All
And
right.
it made my whole day.
All
I
right.
bet, well, it would make my whole day
Add
too.
that to the list.
I am ecstatic about it.
YouTube.
So throw it on YouTube. It's a whole new, different crowd of people. I'm a YouTuber. I don't listen to anything on other stuff.
Oh, really?
Really?
I listen to everything on YouTube. I watch it sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'm usually just listening because I'm doing Photoshop stuff.
Right.
There's YouTube. That's my portal.
I love
so to
it.
Speak.
We're really excited. We really appreciate you having us on. We love you to
I'm out
death.
of
You
breath.
know
No.
that, Jetty.
We're maybe the biggest fans of your podcast. I mean, like literally, it's one of my favorites.
I
Definitely.
I listen to it every single one.
Thank you, ladies. It was an absolute pleasure to be with you.